No, because I'm not trying to go or anything. Don't ask. Stupid people. What's up, y'all? It's Friday. Woohoo! Yay. Yay for Friday. Well, I'm kind of disappointed because I don't get to work any overtime, which really sucks. But that's okay too. So it's Friday on my way home from work, as you can tell, because I usually don't do these videos unless I'm on my way home. I'm gonna let a few people get in here, and let's see. I didn't really pick the topic to talk about today. I guess I don't know. It's a nice day out today for sure. It's probably 80 degrees out today, something like that. Nice weather. It's been it was rainy this morning on the way to work, but it cleared up. I thought it was going to rain all day. It appeared as if it was going to. The rain was pretty heavy at times. Of course, you know it's like that here in Missouri. The old adage, you know, if you want to know what the weather's going to be like in Missouri, just wait 5 minutes. Something like that. Anyway. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, missed it. Yeah, big old truck there. Trying to make a really tight turn with a long trailer. That's an awfully tight turn to make right there. Anyway. So what's happening, viewer? I don't know if you're one of my... Oh, well, you say hello to them and they take off. Isn't that neat? I guess from now on, if I just want to get rid of people, I'll just say hi, you know. I guess my daughter will be in here in a minute. I'm not sure. I haven't seen her yet. She might be in. Hello, viewer. What's happening? It's Friday ride home with me. I know my description said Red Shirt Friday. Okay, so... okay, you don't want to know. That's fine. Well, there you are. Somebody's in there. Anyway, I was getting ready to discuss Red Shirt Friday. R.E.D means remember everyone deployed. I'm a big advocate for our men and women in the military. So on Fridays, I wear a red shirt just to remember them. You know, because they can't be home with their families on Friday like I can if I choose to. So I wear a shirt, you know, that kind of represents them and what they're about. Anyway. So it's been kind of a busy week. Oh man. Yeah, it's I did a video, I think it was let's see, what day was it I did a video? Was it Monday or Tuesday? No, Tuesday I didn't go to work, so I had the day off. So it must have been Wednesday, I guess I did a video. And I talked a little bit about my stepdad, or dad. He's not my biological father, but he's always been my father. You know, he's in the hospital, and so just as a quick report, he's doing, I guess, a little better. You know, small improvements are better than no improvements at all, which is good. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed, keeping our prayers offered up, and hoping for the best at this point. But even if he does get better, it's still a long way for him to go. You know, a lot of people that I've been talking to, you know, that know people that have broken their hips, say that you know, a hip surgery at you know, an elderly age is hard to come back from. So we're just hopeful that, you know, the infection is subsiding and that he's going to be able to have a willpower enough to keep moving forward instead of taking 3 steps back. Hello, Gregory. Is that Disbold? Hello, Gregory. What's happening? Yeah, I was talking a little bit about my dad. He broke his hip about a month ago, And I did a video, like I guess it was Wednesday, probably. It was either Monday or Wednesday, because I didn't drive and do a video Tuesday. And I was just talking about how I've been talking to people that say that, you know, when people break their hip at an elderly age, like my dad, they generally don't come back from it. So we're just trying to keep our, just broke his hip. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. That's got to be tough. I guess the biggest thing is probably keeping them motivated through the pain. And my dad, he's a Vietnam vet, so he kind of wants to be in charge of things, and he doesn't like taking doctor's orders. He doesn't like taking orders from anybody else, because, you know, with him being a tough old coot like he is, he thinks that he knows what's best for him. Oh man, I appreciate that. All the prayers will help. Yeah, definitely. I won't be able to look at the screen a lot because I am driving, but I'll glance down every now and then. But I really appreciate that, Gregory. That's awfully nice of you. And anyway, so he was in the hospital for about a week or so after his surgery, and they decided to put him in a nursing home rehab. And I guess he just wasn't comfortable there or whatever, and he was wanting to leave. And so he had me come, and my stepmom had me come and talk to him about it. He wanted me to try and get him out of a chair, so I tried to lift him up, and there was no lifting him. They had one of those belt strap things, you know, in his chair that he was sitting in, so that they could come in with something that looked like a cherry picker, you know, that you take a motor out of a car with to kind of help him up, and things like that. So that's what they were, you know, moving him around with us. I was like, Dad, you know, what's the deal here? You know, I mean, you can't go home. Have you thought about, you know, how you're going to get around? You know, my stepmom, she's pretty elderly. Well, she's not elderly, but, you know, she doesn't get around as well as she used to, and she's a veteran as well. And you know, I would hate to see her try to, you know, move him around or try to help him stand up and then hurt herself, and then he's really screwed. So, hi Gregory. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, but I appreciate the prayers. So, he had to go to the bathroom, so he had somebody come and take him to the bathroom. And of course, they had to use the cherry picker to get him there. We'll be on getting the phone call. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'm getting the phone call. I'll try and get my phone here just a little bit. Guys, take it easy. All right, I'm live again. How about that? I guess all it did was put me on hold. I don't know how much of that conversation you guys heard, but alrighty then. So, I don't even remember where I was now. I think I was talking about my dad and the hip thing and all that. But sorry about the break, y'all. I didn't mean to shut you all off, but if I don't answer the phone, then, you know, well, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, so here we are, live again. How about that? Isn't it funny how that works? I turned my phone off. I mean, not the phone itself, but I hung up with a call, and it went right back into my live video, so that's pretty cool. Never had that happen before. I've never gotten a phone call while I was shooting a video before, so that's pretty interesting that it happened that way. I don't know where everybody went. I had a couple of people in there watching me. Maybe they'll scroll around or get a notification that I'm on again. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, so there's we got family in from out of town, and that was my better half calling me to see what I wanted to do. They're going to meet at a restaurant at 3:30. Apparently nothing has gone the way that it's supposed to go for the trip for her son, whose birthday is today. So he's 38 today, I think she said, or 36 or 37. I don't know. He's 30 something anyway. and he's driving from Colorado to North Carolina for some kind of a conference that his wife, she works for a company that called Rural King. Well, there's another name for it too, and I don't know the other name of the company, but they're on their way to North Carolina. So they came into St. Louis last night, and he wanted to go to a Hardee's, and unfortunately, after the big bad virus, all the Hardee's seem to have dissipated. I guess they weren't making enough money to begin with, and then of course, you know, with being closed and things like that through the time of the virus, and you know, having to be on limited hours or whatever, I guess they just weren't that busy. So the one he went to apparently closed early, and he was pretty upset about that. So then they tried to go to a place today called Grant's Farm. Grant's Farm is it's ran by Anheuser-Busch, and they got a petting zoo and rides and things like that, and like a museum and art shows, and it's a pretty cool little place. Anyway, so they didn't realize that this place would be closed today, so they're not going to go, and they decided that they were just going to go ahead and leave the St. Louis area. So I got a phone call, you know, asking me, hey, look, what time are you going to be home? They're supposed to meet us at the restaurant at 3:30. And I'm like, look, I'm not going anywhere until I get home and change clothes. I'm not going to go out to eat in my work clothes. I don't know. I'm a little more particular than that. I don't like going out to public places, restaurants and things like that, unless I've at least freshened up a little bit, you know, and change clothes. So I'm going to go home and change clothes and then go to the restaurant and meet them. Thanks for the likes anyway, guys. Oh, and by the way, if you're new to my channel, you haven't seen me yet, do me a favor, subscribe and hit the like button. That would really help me out. Recently, I reached a goal of 500 subscribers, and now my goal is 600. So I think that it would be easier for me to accomplish, you know, 100 at a time than to, you know, tell people, oh yeah, I need 1,000 people, you know, like right off. So if you guys don't mind, just hit the subscribe button and you know, tap the screen twice. It doesn't take much energy and it doesn't hurt unless you bruise easily, and then your finger will get bruised and then you could really be in trouble. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, so I'm going to be going home and be going in, change clothes, maybe run a brush through my hair. My hair's we had rain this morning, and so it's been real humid out today, and I've had a bad hair day today. I don't know what you guys think, but it looks terrible. So I'm gonna take care of that, and I just, like I said, I don't like going anywhere, you know, after work in my work clothes. You know, I mean, I don't mind going to stores and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna go to a restaurant and eat if I haven't taken a shower or, you know, freshened up a little bit and changed clothes. I just don't feel presentable, so to speak. So I'm about 20 minutes from home, I guess. So I'll be able to take care of that. Getting ready, if you hold on just a minute, viewer, I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to go across this really cool bridge. It's across the Missouri River on a highway called Highway 364 East, going east. All right, so give me just a second here. All right, there we go. As you can see, it's a nice, bright, sunshiny day, and the clouds are puffy and all that good stuff. Now, I don't know the name of this bridge. I just know that it's the 364 bridge that goes across the Missouri River. I cross this, not this particular bridge, I cross this one sometimes once a day going home. I don't go to work this way. I go to work on Interstate 70 going west. I just go this way going home because it's a little longer. Oh, excuse me. And I can shoot a video, and the traffic's not as bad. Going back 70, traffic's terrible in the afternoons on 70. It always has been. But then that's the Blanchette Bridge. I do know the name of that bridge. That's the Blanchette Bridge. It crosses the Missouri River over that way. 70 and 364 will run parallel to each other. And just in case you're not in my area and you don't know. So 364 and 70 run parallel to each other, but 364 curves around and then intersects at some point with 170, which is like an inner loop of the city of St. Louis and surrounding area. So like I said, I go this way going home a lot of times because it's a little bit longer. I can do a video and I don't have to, I mean, I got to pay attention because, you know, I'm driving, but I don't have to, you know, be on alert at all times because I've got, you know, hardly any traffic on this road. And but the other road, Interstate 70, is the Blanchette Bridge, which crosses the Missouri River. And sometimes I do go home that way, and some days I'll go and cross that bridge twice a day. Once going east, once going west. But not today. I thought I would take a few extra minutes today, you know, to shoot this video, and then I got a phone call in the middle of it, or well, I was about 8 minutes in, something like that. I got a phone call, and then I was talking to you guys about going home and getting, you know, freshened up a little bit. I just, you know, I don't like going out in public, you know, in my work clothes. I don't, you know, it's just, to me, it's not presentable, I guess you could say. Like I don't know, I'll stop at like a convenience store or get gas or, you know, something like that. But as far as like going to eat or anything, no, I don't particularly care to go out and sit at a table at a restaurant full of people in my work uniform. I just don't like it. Anyway, so I don't have a lot planned for the weekend. I do need to mow my grass. It's been kind of rainy here the last, well, this morning it was rainy, and then it rained a little bit yesterday, and rained a whole lot the day before, so my grass is really taken off. So I think before it gets too warm tomorrow, I'm going to go out. I might set up the camera while I mow my front yard, or my back, I'm not really sure which, but it's really, it looks like freaking Vietnam. I was making that joke the other day. You know, by the time I get to, you know, mow my back grass, it's going to look like Vietnam in my backyard, you know. But fortunate enough for me, it hasn't, as of yet. The grass is probably, I don't know, 8-10 inches high, something like that in some places. But I've got this like creeper grass or creeper vine or something that grows in my backyard. It has like little purple flowers on it, and I can't. And I've got a dog, and I don't want to put any chemicals back there, you know, in his toilet. We say the backyard's his toilet, so I don't want to put anything back there that, you know, is possibly a danger to him. You know, something to kill the grass or whatever, or the vines. I am going to take my motorcycle out tomorrow and ride it a little bit. It's time for me to take a ride. I've kind of neglected it because I don't know. I had to lay my motorcycle down about 1.5 years ago. I was going down a side road. Actually, it's like a service road, but there are businesses and stuff along there. And I was going to the bank, to the ATM, and I was trying to make a right-hand turn. And the guy that was coming out where I needed to go in, I mean, I saw him, he pulled out and everything, but he pulled out in front of me, right in my lane. He cut me off. I come pretty much, you know, within a foot or two of hitting him, and I ended up laying my bike down because I really kind of had no choice. It was either hit him or lay the bike down, so I laid it down. And I got a dent in the tank, and I got scratched, you know, the exhaust got scratched up a little bit. But luckily enough for me, I was only doing about probably, I don't know, 5 to 7 miles an hour, something like that, because I was going to a stop, or a slowdown, so I could make the turn. Well, ever since that happened, as much as I love riding my motorcycle, I'm really kind of nervous now. I'm like looking all over the place and looking all around me all the time, and it makes me real nervous, especially when people like pass me. If I'm in a center lane or like one of the outside lanes and somebody passes me on my left-hand side, I'm okay with that because I expect it. The thing that really bothers me is when I'm in the middle lane and somebody passes me on the right-hand side. That just pisses me off. It seems like to me, I don't know if they even teach driver's education in school anymore, but it would seem to me that that would be like common knowledge, that the left-hand lane is the passing lane, the right-hand lane is for the slower traffic. Why they go over there and do that, I don't know. People are just impatient, or they're late for work, or they don't, people don't leave their house a few minutes early anymore. They want to wait till the last second. It's like they know exactly how long it takes to get to work, especially if they're driving like an idiot. And that's what they do. They don't want to leave their house 10 minutes earlier, because that cuts into their day. So I end up having people pass me all the time on the right and left hand side, because on my way to work I usually ride the center lane. I've just found that I don't like backups and things like that. So if I'm in the center lane, I've got a choice that I can make quicker than if I was in the lane that had construction, or a car crash or something. You know what I mean? So I don't make last minute decisions though, and I do usually run my CB radio. I've got a CB radio in my truck. Well, it's not a truck, it's an SUV, but I've got a CB radio that I usually listen to, and I can get kind of traffic reports before I get anywhere. Now this SUV in particular came with the OnStar, which is like a navigation, and it's supposed to tell you wrecks ahead or whatever, but I don't have that anymore, because OnStar apparently is not servicing any vehicles that are 2015 and under. So my truck's a 2008, and I guess with the 5G and all that stuff, my truck is really outdated. Now if I were to change the stereo to a 2016 or 2017 model, where it had the infotainment system was different and had the capability of having a G5 hookup, I could probably do that. But I really don't want to spend money on that when something else mechanically may go wrong, and I need to spend money on mechanics. So matter of fact, I just got my truck out of the shop last Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, last Saturday. It was raining, and it had been raining, pretty much for the couple of days before that. So I get in, I start it up, and the truck seemed like it was skipping real bad, or missing. I don't know. It depends on where you're from as to what you call it. I'm from the South, we call it skipping. And then people here in the Midwest, they call it missing a cylinder. And it was, vibrating real bad. My gas mileage sucked, and my check engine light came on, of course, because that's what they do, when they detect a problem in your ignition or whatever. So it was showing me a misfire on cylinder number 5. Now, I'm pretty mechanically inclined, but here, the older I get, the lazier I get, so I don't really feel like working on my own stuff. So I took it to a shop, and I'd already read the code, so I knew what was wrong with it. I've got one of those scanners, just from working on automobiles before, that I use to check my codes and stuff. And it came up with a code 700, which is a mass flow air sensor that has to do with the the idle for the like when you turn your air conditioner on, like an idle control. And then it had a 302 or something like that. That was the misfire on a cylinder 5. And then I've been dealing with this 440 something. That has to do with your with the purge system. It's got like a back vacuum. When you're driving your vehicle, it keeps like suction on the gas cap and in system, so that they can assure that there are no leaks in the fuel system or whatever. I guess I don't know. I guess it keeps it from blowing up or whatever, or it can detect if there's a leak somewhere. And it's all that freaking emissions junk they put on these cars so that you have to get them fixed before you get them inspected. It's all a racket. And I know I got my tinfoil hat on. Some people call me a conspiracy theorist about that, but it's true. You have to, in a lot of states, before you can even get your car registered, you have to go through the state inspection. And there are cars that require, like, if it's a certain amount of years old, like I think it's like 20 years old, you don't have to get an emissions test. All you have to have is a safety test. But in the county that I live in, you have to have safety and emissions. So the fact that purge system light is on, the check engine light, it won't pass inspection as long as that light's on. So I figured out that when I reset it or clear the code with my digital scanner, it usually takes about 108 to 112 miles after that for that light to come back on. So what I'll do is I'll drive it to about 75 miles or something like that, and then I'll take it and have it inspected, because by that time your computer's already gone through and done all the checks on the whole system. So I just, that's how I avoid not being able to get it inspected before the light comes on. One of these days, I don't know, I've replaced the canister, I've replaced the purge valve in the back, I've replaced the surge sensor in the back, I've replaced the one on the side of the motor, and I've had a new fuel pump put in. But this has been an ongoing problem for years, and I just don't, as long as I can pass inspection and get it to pass, that check engine light can stay on forever for all I care. Because I know what the problem is, and if I get a vibration or something, I'll check it with my scanner to make sure there's nothing else like seriously wrong. But anyway, so I got to run, guys, girls. I'm gonna be going out to eat here, so I got to go home and go in the house and change clothes and all that. And like I said, I don't like to go anywhere in my work clothes. And right now I'm in my work clothes. It looks like it's going to rain too. The sky's kind of dark over there. So you guys have a good weekend, a good evening, good Friday evening. Be careful if you decide to go out and do anything. I don't know where you guys are from, or where you're watching from, but and if you don't mind, if you're not subscribed to my channel, if you wouldn't do me a favor and just hit subscribe. Whether you ever come back or not, I don't know. I do some, live videos every now and then. I do record a lot of concerts when I go. So there's a lot of music concerts and things like that I've done on my page or my channel. And I try to put funny shit on there sometimes. And, I share videos every now and then. And I'm not really looking to get monetized or anything like that. I don't really care about all that stuff. I just think it's really cool that when I do videos, people all over the world can watch me, and that's really cool to me. So if you don't mind, if you hit subscribe, hit the like button, just tap the screen twice, that's good. And we'll see you guys later, because I'm at home, sitting in my driveway. I got to go get dressed. Y'all take it easy. Peace.